Hi and welcome to another Music Online UK virtual pub quiz. The way we're going to get together and increase our musical knowledge as well as a little bit of lockdown socialising. So we have already in the chat Ruby and Dante who've said hello, and I can see other people have joined as well. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves. Now the way this is going to work, as those of you who've done this before, but those of you who are new, I'll just explain again. We're going to play a piece of music, and it's going to be a little bit like some oral and theory questions based on the piece of music that I play. And I have here a sheet of paper and a pencil where I'm going to keep score. And it's going to be a competition between those of you who can answer the questions the quickest. Okay, so you've got to have fast typing fingers, all right? Now, I'm going to play you a little piece of music, and one of the first questions, in fact, I'm going to give you 3 questions all together. So, saying hello as well to Sophia, who's just joined us. I remember you from last week. Okay, now, I'm going to give you 3 questions all together, all based on style and period. And the 3 questions, I'm going to copy and paste them as well into the chat so we can all have a look at them. By the way, if anyone is joining this quiz late and not at the beginning, don't watch from the beginning, otherwise you won't be able to participate. Fast forward to the live moment, and then later if you want to, you can watch from the beginning. Right, just paste into the chat the 3 questions. First of all, what period does the music come from? The second question will be, give some reasons for your answers. And the third question will be to actually name the composer. The actual composer, not a possible composer, but the actual one. All right, now there are going to be points for this. The first person to name the period correctly in the chat will get a point. Then there may be some various answers, all worth a point, of the reason why you gave the answer to number 1. All right, and then thirdly, there will be a point for naming the actual composer. And we have someone else joining, Akalesh Kumar, okay? Good evening. So what is the easiest way to learn the cycle of events? Well, to be honest, we are not doing a question and answer sort of thing. We're doing a little quiz, all right? But if you want to leave your question in the normal comments below this video, I'll get back to you after this live stream is finished if you've got a question that's beyond what we're actually doing now, okay? So if you could put that question in later. Audrey as well, I remember you from last week, all right? So I've just put up the questions there. Have a listen to this piece of music, okay? And then answer the 3 questions. so it's a couple of minutes since I've looked at the chat, and it's already filled up with a lot of answers which I need to sift through in order to give you some points. So first of all, I'm looking for the first person that wrote down the correct period. So I'm going to scroll back up the answers, and we have Ruby, who has mentioned the classical period. So you get our first point of the day. All right, now I'm now looking for anyone who's mentioned any good reasons why it's the classical period. Okay, so Sophia has mentioned well-defined phrases. That is a good reason for classical music, or identifying as classical music. Okay, no dim or crescendo? I wouldn't actually say that was true, actually. I think there were dims and crescendi. All right, simple. Simple what? That's a little bit sort of vague. Okay, simple melody, clear phrases, can sing along. I'm going to give Mihak. Mihak, I remember you from last week. Welcome again. All right, another point for that one. The Alberti bass. Now I like that one, Sophia. You get an extra point for that. And okay. I'm looking for so many more. Simple harmony with well-defined phrases. Yeah, the harmony is, I would say, simple melodic phrases with yeah, okay. We'll give you a mark there, Ruby. Simple harmony, well-defined phrases. Simple melody. I don't think we've mentioned that one already, so that's Audrey, isn't it? Simple melody with chordal Alberti bass accompaniment. Good. It's a point for that. And now we're going for some composers. Now the correct composer has been mentioned, I was just double checking then, has been mentioned, but only in a hedge your bets type of answer. In other words, they've given either or. I want a single answer. So someone's actually mentioned it. And it's not Mozart, Ruby. I know it sounds like Mozart. They're very similar time periods, but Beethoven's a little bit more progressive towards the romantic, a little heavier, a little more intense. So it's Haydn. Now I'm going to give you that, Ruby, although your spelling of Haydn doesn't have an E in it. It's H-A-Y-D-N, okay? Haydn, not Haydn. All right, so we'll give the points to Ruby. Now, at the end of those first three questions, the scores are as follows. Audrey has a point, as does Mihak. Sophia has 2, and Ruby has 3 points. But as you know from previous weeks, things can change very quickly, especially when we get to the Italian terms section near the end, okay? So, let's go to our next question, which I will copy and paste for you. All right, do I need to? Oh, yeah. You can answer this straight away. You don't even need to hear it again. Was this piece, fingers ready, in a major or minor key? First answer will get the point. First correct answer, that is. Not just any answer. Okay. Oh, now, what do I do? They're all popping out here. Right, I'm going to give the answer, the point to Beppo. Because some of you are typing so fast, you're typing rubbish. Majod, Magir, major, spelled correctly, it's to Beppo. So we're going to have a condition now that if it's an easy question and you're just waiting to see who can type fastest, you have to spell it correctly. Okay, so Beppo gets the point there. Oh, Sophia, you're trying to be clever now. You said A major. Actually, it's not A major. But anyway. Okay, Dante, you did. You did, but I've got in my chat here, Beppo was slightly ahead of you, Dante. Okay. I'm not sure if it comes out the same order for everybody. I'm just saying what I can see. Right, now, let's go on to the next question, because there are plenty more points. And this is the intervals question. You may have remembered from last time. I'm going to play you 3 melodic intervals. And first of all, for 1 point, name all 3 intervals. So if it's like a first, a second, and a third, you'll write 1, 2, and 3. All right, so I'm going to write this down here in the chat. For 1 point, name all 3 intervals. Okay, now here are your intervals. Later on, and it's going to be a later question, I'll ask you to describe those intervals in more detail, like instead of just a third, but a major, minor, diminished, augmented third. But first of all, just name the 3 numbers of the intervals. And I'm just checking which ones I was going to use. Okay. Right, so I'm going to cover my hand as before, because otherwise you can cheat. So that's the first interval. Then from that last note, that's the second interval. And then from that last note, okay, it appears in the phrase. Right, those are where the intervals appear, but here's the first one, the second one, and the third one. Okay. What numbers are those 3 intervals? Now, let's see who's got some answers. Second, third, and fifth, I think. Audrey, you get the point there. Second, third, and fifth. Okay, you got points on there. Now, for some extra points, can you name what type of second it was? Just the second. Just name the second. I'll play it again. Sorry, it wasn't that one, was it? Yes, Audrey, it's a major second. Okay. Now, can you name what type of third this is? Major third, Ruby, correct. And finally, what type of fifth was this? Perfect fifth, Sophia, correct. All right, so let's do some midway scoring. Beppo's got a point, as has Mihak. And then Sophia and Audrey are both on 3 points and Ruby's on 4 points. Still keeping the lead just about there. Okay, we've got to type fast to get the points. Now I'm going to play you some harmonic intervals. Okay, now which ones was I chosen here? Yeah, okay. Right. I want you to do these one at a time. Okay, actually we'll do it like the last time. Give me all 3 as just numbers, and you get a point for just having the 3 numbers, all in a row. Okay. 333, 453, 443, 643, 333. I'm still waiting. 243. I'm going to actually give it. No, I'm going to give Mihak a point, but he hasn't got the right answer because it could be, but it's not. I'll explain later when someone's got the right answer. I want the 3 numbers. Now, if you look back to Mihak's answer, there's a clue. He's almost got it right, and in a way, it could be right. Well, that's what Mihak wrote, wasn't it? 443. So it can't be the same. No, we're getting further away now, Dante. 543, Sophia. That's the point. Right, now, this time, what type of fifth is this? It's not a perfect fifth. No. There's a perfect fifth. And I played diminished fifth. Well done, Mihak. Sorry, Ruby. Ruby came in first. So Ruby gets a diminished fifth. Now, the reason I said Mihak was correct, but he wasn't correct, is because a diminished fifth, A natural to B, sorry, E flat, could also be a diminished, sorry, an augmented fourth. So it could be A to D sharp. Yeah? And that'll be written as a fourth, but the D would be sharp rather than an E being flat. And it would be written as a augmented fourth. Okay, now, what type of interval is this one exactly described? We've already established that it's 5, 4, 3 are the interval numbers, fifth, fourth and third, but what type of fourth? Perfect fourth, Ruby, correct. Okay, and finally, what type of third is this? Major third. You're getting in good practice for writing quickly, aren't you, Ruby? Okay, right. So that's the interval section over. I think generally, as a group, you're getting better at this. All right. The first time I tried this question, it was taking a lot longer to get the right answers. So well done. Now, does anyone remember, without me playing the whole thing again, what is the structure, the form of the music? What structure is the music? ABA, I'm going to give you, and turn. I'm going to give 2 points here. One for ABA, Ruby, yes. But I'm also going to give Audrey a point for ternary because that's the more technical name for ABA. Okay, so, not binary, I'm afraid. It is ternary. Binary would just be 2 sections. All right, now, I'm going to ask a slightly more tricky question. I don't think the visual quality is quite clear enough for you to be able to read my music. Just in case, I'm just going to close it. Right. Now, it is ABA, and there's a special type of music, or special form they call it, in the classical period that uses a piece that's in 3-time, where it has a slightly maybe slower contrasting middle section and then goes back to the original section. Now, waltz would be more in the Romantic period. What do we call that? A waltz type feel, but something that's a little bit earlier in the classical and the Baroque music. Very good, Beppo. Minuet and trio. And it is actually a minuet and trio. Okay, so a point there for Beppo. Well done. Right, now, can you tell me what differed in the texture of the music between the minuet section and the trio section? How was the minuet different to the trio in texture? We've sort of hinted at it already. Some people have mentioned these words, but I want you to be more specific relating to the actual form of the music now. I wouldn't say homophonic and polyphonic. Most of it, the minuet was homophonic. Chordal, okay, Sophia, there we go. Right. Yes, chordal, then an Alberti bass. I think generally it was all homophonic. Now, homophonic doesn't have to be everything playing exactly the same rhythm, but polyphonic, as opposed to homophonic, has parts of equal importance interweaving with each other, and the melody isn't always just on the top. Now, in this piece, wherever it's gone to, I can't remember now. Where is it? There we are. Right, so now. This left hand, as Sophia correctly called it, is an Alberti bass. Let me give you your points for that, by the way, before I forget. Okay? That doesn't mean that it's polyphonic. It just means that it's a broken up chord. Yeah, played one at a time. I could just as easily play... Alright, that left hand doesn't have an independent right in itself as a voice. It is still just an accompaniment. So it's melody and accompaniment, which is usually homophonic rather than polyphonic. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we've got some good answers. It's spiky. I wonder what that's referring to, but anyway. Okay, now let's move on to some other questions because there's still everything to play for, although on a part way basis, we have Mihak and Beppo on 2 points, Audrey on 4, Sophia on 5, and Ruby's stretching out a little bit of a lead on 8. But as I say, there's still quite a lot of points to play for. So we have done about the texture in the different sections. Now we're going to do about cadences. So I'm going to play you one little phrase from this piece, and I want you to tell me what the cadence is at the end of the phrase. Hang on a minute. No, I'm not going to do that phrase because there's a slight change. Ignore that. If you've written an answer, we're going to cancel that. I'm going to do a different phrase. Right, so I'm just going to put a load of X's. Any correct answers have to be below these X's. Okay, what is that cadence? Imperfect, Dante. Good. And Dante's on the scoreboard now with a point. Okay, it is imperfect, but Dante got there first. Right, now, can you tell me what the chords that make the cadence? These 2 chords here, I'm going to play them slowly. Which ones were they? Yeah. I'll give you a key chord first, it might help. So there's a tonic, bom. Now, that's quite a tricky question. Some people are saying 6 to 1, that wouldn't be imperfect. 4 to 5 would be imperfect, but not in this case. 4 to 5, someone else is saying 2 to 5, correct, Sophia, chord 2 to chord 5. Okay, now, I'll give you a little clue here. You can start to recognise chord 2 and chord 4. Hopefully, if you've done a little bit of theory, and you're on the higher grades, you should know that an imperfect cadence always finishes on 5, but the one before it has a few variations. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 4. Now, in a major key, let's take a simpler major key, not A flat major like this piece is in, but in C major. Chord 2 has a minor sound. Chord 4 has a major sound. So if the one before the final chord 5 is major, it's more likely to be chord 4 or possibly chord 1. But if it's got a minor sound, it's almost definitely going to be chord 2. Yeah, minor, and then ending on a dominant chord, 2 to 5. 4 to 5, major to a dominant chord. All right, there's a little trick, it might help you. Okay, right, so let's move on now. Chords make the cadence. Modulations. Right, now I'm going to play the phrase, that's what I got confused with the last time. I'm going to play you the phrase that's got a modulation in it. And I want you to tell me where it modulates to. Now you can either do this by using the technical names like dominant, subdominant, relative made, blah, 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 right? Or you could just name the key. The key at the moment, the main key of the piece is A flat major. And here's an A flat major chord. Where does it modulate to at the end of this phrase? And who has the first correct answer? It's the dominant. Yes, and Audrey gets the point there, since you were the first one to say so. Yep. And I'll give Dante an extra point because he said the actual name of the key, so E flat major. Now, I'm going to play it again and slightly change it. Okay? I'm not going to play what's actually written in front of me. I'm going to twist it a little bit. Now where did it modulate to? Relative minor. And can anyone get a point for the actual key? Relative minor is the correct answer, Audrey, so you get a point. No, not F minor. Ah, hang on. No, it's a different key completely. C minor. Yeah, it is C minor. That's not actually the relative minor. F minor would be, wouldn't it? So it's not relative minor. It's a different key. It's the relative dominant of the dominant. So I'm going to take that point off, Sophia. Sorry. It's gone to C minor. And who said C minor? Sophia. Oh, I'll give you the point back then. It was you anyway. Okay. Yeah. Right, now we're going to move on. Let's see. I remember this question. Accented or unaccented, passing or auxiliary notes. Okay, so in this little phrase here, I'm going to stop on one note and I want you to tell me whether that note was an accented or unaccented, passing or auxiliary note. The one I stopped on, was that an accented passing note, an unaccented passing note, an accented auxiliary note, or an unaccented auxiliary note? I'll do it again. That one there. And see who's got the first correct answer. It is an accented passing note. Who's the first person got it? Audrey. Yes. Okay, because it's on a beat. Okay, to be unaccented, it would have to be between the beats. Okay. And to be auxiliary, it would have to be not going through a scale from one passing note through the, well, sorry, one harmony note passing through to another harmony note, yeah? Auxiliary would be something, in fact, the very first note of the bar, that F there doesn't belong to the harmony. The E flat does, but that F doesn't pass from anywhere. It's not going from A to B. It just came in from the side, unannounced, right? And that's an auxiliary note. Okay, so Dante's a little confused. You're saying what? I'm not sure what you're confused about, but maybe you can put a little comment in the comments below the video later, and then we can answer your question there, because we've got to move on to the point where people can actually gain a whole load of marks, or maybe lose them. I don't know. Right, I want you to give me, first of all, some Italian terms that describe the character, not the tempo, the character of this piece. Or let's say the character of the minuet part. All right, so animato. There's a point for Audrey. Okay, these can come thick and fast, and this is where the whole point system can. Leggero. I'm going to give one to Ruby. Yeah. Vivace. That could apply. Leggero has already been used, although it wasn't spelt correctly, Ruby. No, I'm going to, since you're in the lead, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to be mean and strict. I'm going to give it to Mihak, because he spelt it correctly. Grazioso. Legato. Right, now, I'm talking about the minuet part, not the trio part. So let's just stick to the minuet, okay? I wouldn't say was particularly legato, and not really particularly cantabile. Okay, maybe the trio later was, but what about the minuet part? Staccato, yeah, we'll give you that. All right, Dante, you can have a point for that. Okay. Now, that's not Italian, Ruby. Accented isn't Italian. Who can tell me the Italian word for emphasized and accented? There is an Italian word that describes what Ruby was trying to say. That's not an Italian word either. That sforzato, yeah. I was thinking of something beginning with an M, and you can't just put a symbol, Ruby. That's not an Italian word. Marcato. Sophia, you get a point. There we go. And sforzato, why not? So, emphatic, yes, Katie, it is emphatic, but we're looking for Italian words. Okay, can anyone give me now, we're going to draw a line under that, so I'm going to put some little squiggles, and any more answers after this do not count for that question. Here are some squiggles. Right, now we need some French or German terms. This is where the points get tricky. No more Italians allowed. Anime. Okay, Mihak gets one for anime. Who else do we have? Fröhlich. I would say it's happy. Now, we had that one last week, didn't we? And lebhaft. So 2 points, Audrey. Well done. Okay, fröhlich and lebhaft. Vif. Oh, well done. Now you see Ruby was pulling ahead at the beginning of this quiz. And now when we get into the Italian, French and German points, all things could change. I don't know French and German terms. Then study them before next week, Ruby, because this question will be coming up again. All right, it's a good incentive to study. Yeah, it highlights the areas where we need to work on, doesn't it? These quizzes, they're a bit of fun, yeah, but they also help us to understand where our holes in our education are, okay? So I'm going to give a few more moments before we read out the final scores. I think we had lebhaft already. You can't have an extra point for saying the same thing twice. Okay. Right, we're going to call it a day there. So the line is going to be drawn again. That's not a line, that is a line. There we are, there's the line. Oh, lustig. It's a G on the end. I'll give you the point. You just got in as the whistle went, Sophia. It means happy, lustig. Yeah. Right. And we're going to have some scores. So some of us were more active in participation than others, but at the end of the list was Beppa with a couple of points and Dante with 3. Mihak got 4. And then, we've done those 3. Okay, then equal with 8 points were Ruby and Sophia. But this week's winner with 13 points, it's those German terms, you see, was Audrey. So congratulations. I have no fanfare to give you, but well done, Audrey, for getting the maximum score this week. Well, Ruby, you're correct. Lustig is spelled with a G. Yep, so you get a consolation prize, but it still wouldn't get you the 13. All right, so hopefully that was a bit of fun and passed a bit of your Sunday afternoon. We'll be doing another one of these on next Sunday. And also, if anyone wants a little bit more one-to-one, we also do a little hangout on Skype, literally, where you can actually have more of a chat vocally and do some oral training on a Skype hangout. And there's a little link in the description below this video if you want to join in with that, okay? So, we'll see you all next week, and thanks for your participation. I just got to work out again how to stop this stream, because it's always a little bit fiddly from remote. But again, I've been very pleased with the amount of participation. It seems the competitive element has always brought out, let's say, the best in you. So, see you next week. Bye.